Hey guys, what is up everybody and welcome to a new video. And following our traditions, this video should be about things I don't like about Yamaha MT-07. But you know what, I was trying to put the list of those things together, just trying to summarize everything I don't like about this motorcycle. And then I got myself in a really weird situation where I actually like everything about this bike. So there is no single thing which I don't like about this bike if I keep in mind what this bike is meant to be. And that's where I was like, okay, so what should I do? Like how I'm gonna structure this video, what I'm gonna say. And I was thinking, let me go for another ride. Let me try this bike in city again. Let me try this bike in the mountains. Let me just spend a couple of more hours riding this bike before I actually gonna stand in front of the camera and telling you guys what I don't like. While riding this motorcycle, I actually came up with another idea. What if I just tell you my experience about certain things about this motorcycle, and then it is up to you to decide whether you like it or don't. I really like this bike. I just sincerely like this motorcycle. I like absolutely everything about this bike. It is like brilliant machine. It is pure. It doesn't feature certain things, but every time you ride it, every single time you ride it, guys, you freaking smile. That's how I would put it. Like, you freaking smile. It is just bike for having fun. Every pull, every small acceleration, every overtake, that will put smile on your face, I'm telling you. So let me start from the design standpoint. And I talked about it in my previous video. I don't really want to repeat myself much. So what I think is, this design is a problem because it will actually make people look away from this motorcycle. When you look at this bike first time, you don't like it, especially because of this like front light. But when you ride this motorcycle, when you spend some time with this bike, every time you come back to this bike, every time you see the silhouette, right, you start enjoying it. What we know Yamaha for, we know it for sport bikes. R1, R6 legendary motorcycles, especially if we talk about circuit. If you look at this bike, you will definitely see that Yamaha implemented that racing DNA onto MT-07. And then again, there is a problem because it has really nice elements. When you look at this bike from here, from rider perspective, like some elements are really nicely done. Most people will think this is sport bike, or this is like street naked, street fighter, neo naked. Problem is you cannot even classify this motorcycle by what it is because it's like such strange mixture of looks, right, or categories of the motorcycles which you might find on the market. But when you ride it, it's not what you see, it's how you feel. And that is like another level, just another level. If you're looking for an experience, this is the bike for that. Having experience of motorcycling. And some people actually might not really consider this motorcycle just because of the design. But if you're one of those people, give it a try. You guys will be surprised how this bike is when you ride it. This bike is small. Even now you can see me standing in front of it and you will see that I'm 190, and for me this motorcycle is tiny. If you someone 175 and above, just take this bike out of your list, because unfortunately, no matter how good this bike is, no matter how fun it is, no matter how much you like it, you will be struggling riding this motorcycle. After a couple of hours, in my personal case, my knee starts to hurt and I have zero pleasure continuing riding this motorcycle because I need to stop, I need to stretch, I need to sort of do stuff, and then I force myself get into the bike again and continue riding. So if you're riding 2 hours straight, that is not your bike in terms of comfort. Because even with this seat, which is really nice shape, and I feel that this seat is designed to be comfortable because it's flat, it is wide. For shorter riders, 175, 170, 165, female, male riders, this seat will be probably one of the best stock seats you can find in this category. But for tall riders, guys, sitting position will be really hard to live with, right? So if you're, no matter how much you like this motorcycle, this bike is just not for you if you're a tall guy. I don't have any reference point in terms of previous generations for this motorcycle, because I know that some people complained about front suspension being a little bit soft and rear suspension being a little bit stiff, and also that front brakes are not performing well. So for me, from my personal experience with this motorcycle, with this generation, with exactly this bike, I have zero issues either with the suspension or brakes. But I would confirm that no matter how I play with rear shock, it's still on bouncy and stiffer side. So I was trying to adjust it like both ways. Go all the way up, all the way down. Whichever settings I put in place, or combination of settings I put in place, it's still bouncy suspension. It performs super well on nice roads, but it's not that perfect on the bouncy roads. But again, it all depends on, you know, where you guys gonna ride this motorcycle, what sort of type of riding you prefer, whether it's your first bike or it's not your first bike. So can you compare it to something else? Because for most people, they're not even gonna notice it, because if it's your first motorcycle, you just don't have any point of comparison, right? So how you can compare it to something else if that is only what you know. This bike has CP2. CP2 doesn't need any introduction. That is probably the most fun engine and the most user-friendly engine I ever ridden. If you speak about T7 or Tracer 7, on those bikes, sometimes you can say that it's not enough power for the bike. But exactly on MT-07, you feel like this engine is actually more than this motorcycle needs. And then you also think that when you buy this motorcycle, of course, you don't want to limit yourself where you ride it. You want to go for a tour, maybe just, you know, weekend escape, maybe 1 week trip. Meanwhile, you're gonna ride it in the city, just commuting. When I try to identify or understand what this bike is for, I go onto manufacturer website and I'm trying to see what the original accessories do you have, what it can offer, right? And to be honest, there is no proper luggage solution for this motorcycle. Of course, there is solution with a top box. But what I noticed is that if you want to install the top box, it's sort of complicated. So it's not like plug and play solution as most manufacturers do nowadays, right? So when you buy a bike, especially if it's touring bike, it's already have some pre-installed mounts, or at least there is some places where you can install those mounts easily, and then you put the luggage on that, and like you have zero difficulties to install it. In case of MT-07, that wouldn't be possible, because you need to cut your plastic, so there will be some holes here. Probably Yamaha just don't think that you actually need luggage solution for this motorcycle. I mean, there is not a big deal installing tank bag, and there is some aftermarket solutions like this from SW Motec, where you can put this plate here and then you can attach magnetic tank bag onto this plate. I mean, there is some things, you know, to play around with, but first of all, I would like to consider OEM solutions which manufacturer can offer, and I don't see that Yamaha has plenty of them, or they are well thought of, right? Also, fuel tank is on a smaller side, so which makes your range a little bit shorter. This bike wants you to play with it. Your fuel consumption will be high, or higher than usual, so it means that your average distance which you can go on this bike is kind of on the shorter side, and that is, again, doesn't say that it's like touring machine at all. I completely fine when motorcycles lacking technology, because it also depends what you want from a motorcycle, right? Yamaha MT-07 is being positioned by Yamaha as probably your first motorcycle, your first city commuter or everyday motorcycle. And when you ride bike every day, when it's your first motorcycle, you're gonna get into the situations which you never been to before. For instance, you're gonna ride in rain, you're gonna ride maybe in cold weathers. For those situations, you have to have safety features because you don't know or you don't have enough practice riding motorcycles in those conditions. And especially when you have that torquey CP2, not having electronic throttle or any sort of traction control nowadays in 2024, in my opinion, is something Yamaha is missing out on. If you look at Triumph, Trident, right, because I believe Triumph Trident is a direct competition to this motorcycle, they did a smart move. First of all, they have ride modes, and it became possible because they have electronic throttle, and also they integrated traction control, which you can disable if you want. But if you're a new rider, it would be nice to have those options just for the safety matter. I have to mention that from 2025 we already saw some spy shots for T7, and basically what they say is that probably T7 will be equipped with electronic throttle. Maybe that also will come to MT-07 with the next update, and next update actually can be next year because it's already been what, 4 or 5 year cycle for this motorcycle. This screen has quite a big real estate here. It's quite big, right? So, and to be honest, it looks really nice. When you ride it, the information is visible, the colors are good, it all gives you a premium feel and premium touch. But the problem is, you pay for the screen, you pay for the connectivity, and you don't really get much functionality out of it. And also this like scroll wheel, I talked about it many times and I don't want to repeat myself. It doesn't really make it really comfortable to operate. So basically what happens, you have all of this kind of technology, but you cannot use this technology. Because if you look at even Trident again, right, even though they don't include connectivity as a standard, Trident itself, a little bit cheaper motorcycle than MT-07. And for the difference, you can buy a connectivity module, which not gonna only give you ability to change the music, read messages, it will also give you opportunity to use navigation. None of those are here. From this screen, even though it looks nice, it looks big, the most you can expect is just a regular TFT dash. That's it. That's what I'm trying to say. And the last thing which I want to mention, and again, it can bother some people, but I don't feel there is a problem for this motorcycle because that's how twin engine works in general. So this bike has some vibrations. It has vibrations in lower RPMs and it has vibrations at the higher RPMs. It's really smooth in the middle, and those vibrations, they're not painful vibrations. So there are like two types of vibrations. One type of vibrations is those which are affecting only your comfort, and second type of vibrations are those which are actually make it painful. So when you finish your riding and you feel pain in your neck or maybe shoulders, or your fingertips are a little bit electrified and like they are buzzing, those are painful vibrations, and none of them are here on this motorcycle. But if you really want to spin this bike to higher RPMs, it will start to vibrate, it will start to shake a little bit. Probably you guys want to know about it. That's pretty much it, guys. Let me know if you have any questions or comments, if you agree or disagree with me. Leave everything down below in the comment section under this video. First of all, I'm gonna do full comparison between this bike and Tracer 7, because that's one of the most typical questions I have about this motorcycle, how it compares to Tracer 7. Should I go for Tracer 7 or should I choose MT-07? And also we're gonna ride this motorcycle in different scenarios. So we're gonna ride this motorcycle in city, we're gonna ride this motorcycle in the mountains, and we're gonna spend some time on highway, and I want to just give you my feedback, how I feel when I'm riding this motorcycle in all of those scenarios, so you guys can kind of instantly see what's happening and what is my feedback about it. So those videos are coming. If you're not subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!